Fast and Furious 11 is scheduled to hit theaters in April 2025, but it's questionable whether the Fast X sequel will be released on time. The Hollywood strikes in 2023 would have slowed development of the sequel, but now that they have been resolved, we can expect things to resume on the next film. While we wait for more information on the spin-off, let's look at what we may expect from Fast and Furious 11. The next action-packed episode of the Fast and Furious franchise, Fast 11, has fascinating story details, a promising cast, and a release date that isn't too far off. Fast X is the beginning of the finish for the Fast saga, kicking off a multi-part finale will conclude the story of Dom Toretto and his Fast and Furious new family. Fast X Part 2 continues the plot as Dom Toretto and his family approach the endgame. Vin Diesel, the franchise's star and producer, is already creating excitement for the forthcoming Fast and Furious film. No Fast and Furious sequel has been more inextricably linked to its predecessor than Fast 11. Whereas most Fast and Furious sequels are separate action films, Fast X Part 2 is the second installment of the overall tale that began with Fast X. It is a true sequel in the way that previous episodes in the Fast saga are not. Fast 11 is currently in the early phases of development, thus there aren't many story details or casting announcements yet. However, there are a few details about the forthcoming Fast and Furious film. Will it be called Fast and Furious 11? Right now, Fast and Furious 11 is not the official title, and we don't know what the film will be called. The inventive Fast X Part 2 has been widely rumoured as a possible title, but we have yet to see any real evidence. The rumour appears to have originated from Vin Diesel's Instagram post announcing the film's production, which reads, "For those who didn't know that Fast X was just Part 1, know that Part 2 is going to be an effort from our Fast family and studio like you have never seen." Fast 11 release dates. According to Diesel, Fast 11 will be released on April 4th, 2025. This is the type of speedy turnaround that has come to be expected from the franchise, especially given what is being billed as the second half of the story that began in Fast X. Despite delays induced by the Hollywood strikes in 2023, Fast 11 will still be released on its original date, and no adjustments have been made to its chronology. Fast 11 cast. Although Universal has not revealed an official Fast X Part 2 cast list, it appears that Diesel will reprise his role as the series lead, Dom Toretto. Anyone from Dom's family who was not killed in Fast X is likely to return in Fast 11. Other prominent cast members including Jason Statham as villain-turned-ally Deckard Shaw, Helen Mirren as Shaw's mother Magdalene Queenie Elmanson Shaw, and Gal Gadot as Giselle may reprise their roles in Fast X Part 2. Dwayne Johnson's debut as Luke Hobbs in Fast X's post-credit scene is expected to lead to a larger supporting part in Fast 11. The post-credit scene also hinted at Eva Mendes's future comeback as Monica Fuentes. Fast X newcomers Jason Momoa as the ruthless Dante Reyes, Brie Larson as rogue agent Tess, and Daniela Melchior as Brazilian street racer Isabel might all return in Fast 11, which picks up where Fast X left off. Until further information is disclosed, the primary family will very probably include Vin Diesel as Dom Toretto, Michelle Rodriguez as Letty Ortiz, Jordana Brewster as Mia Toretto, Tyrese Gibson as Roman Pierce, Chris Ludacris Bridge as EJ Parker, Sung Kang as Han Lue, and Natalie Emmanuel as Ramsey. Story details for the next Fast and Furious movie. While the details of the Fast 11 plotline remain unknown for the time being, the cast and crew have hinted plot aspects for the upcoming Fast and Furious film. Fast X Part 2 will continue the Fast X story after the cliffhanger finishes. Fast 11 will also be a fitting tribute to Brian O'Connor, the franchise's co-lead portrayed by the late Paul Walker. Diesel stated that ending Brian's tale is essential to concluding the Fast and Furious franchise. "I couldn't imagine this saga ending without truly saying goodbye to Brian." There's also the subject of the Fast X cliffhanger, which hinted Hobbs' return to the franchise. While Dwayne Johnson hinted at a Hobbs spin-off film, it also appears that he will return for the sequel now that he and Diesel have reconciled. It is probable that Hobbs will play a key part in saving the day again. Who is behind Fast and Furious 11? After being a fixture behind the lens for the franchise, Justin Lin was replaced as director of Fast X by Louis Leterrier. Leterrier will also return to direct Fast and Furious 11, with writing credits going to Christina Hodson of The Flash and Oren Uziel of Mortal Kombat. With 2 years until it hits theaters, there is still time for further news about the film's cast and staff, though most of the Fast X crew is expected to return for the sequel. This features executive producers Mark Bombach-Dawn of Planet of the Apes and David Kane Fury, as well as music by Brian Taylor of Iron Man 3 and cinematography by Stephen F. Windham of Star Trek Beyond. Fast and Furious 11 trailer. Any Fast X Part 2 footage yet? Even though we know it's coming, filming on Fast and Furious 11 has yet to begin, therefore there is no footage to show you. Expect to wait until late 2024 to see anything. Fast 11 will be the last in the main series. Though Vin Diesel raised curiosity about Fast 11, the Dom Toretto star has since announced that Fast 11 will be the final installment in the core Fast and Furious franchise. While this finality allows the films to conclude Dom's and Brian's storylines, it does not mark the end of the Fast world. Additional spin-offs are in the pipeline, which will extend the legacy of the family beyond the climax shown in Fast 11. Fast 11 will have a lower budget than Fast X. Fast X had an excessive production budget estimated at $340 million. For context, this is more than $100 million more than the original 2001 film grossed throughout its theatrical run. Realizing how tough it is to break even with such a large budget, Universal reportedly assigned a significantly smaller budget for Fast and Furious 11, though no official figure has been published. Overall, Universal made a really sensible option. While Fast X was hardly a box office disaster, it fell far short of its lofty expectations, signaling that interest in the franchise is waning, particularly in the United States. It is safer to use a smaller budget for the next part than to spend another $300 million on a film that may not make it back. Fast and Furious 11 comes out in 2025. Fast and Furious 11 was expected to be released sooner, however it may have been delayed due to the writers and actors strikes in 2023. The forthcoming climax to the action saga is set to enter theaters on April 4, 2025, assuming no further delays. Production for the next Fast and Furious film is slated to begin in spring 2024, giving the picture a limited filming window if it is to meet its release date. With only a year between the start of filming and the current release date, it appears like Fast 11 will be delayed. Nonetheless, the sequel is expected to arrive in theaters around 2025. Jason Momoa may not return for Fast X Part 2. Dante Reyes is Fast and Furious's best villain, and he effortlessly steals the show in Fast X. Shortly after the film's release, however, speculation circulated that Vin Diesel may not have been thrilled with Momoa's scene-stealing performance. As a result, some reports suggest that Fast and Furious 11 will focus on a different villain entirely, with Dante absent. Leaving Dante out of Fast and Furious 11 would be a huge mistake. Fast X obviously established Momoa's character as the ideal franchise-ending villain, and abandoning his storyline now would be extremely unsatisfactory, virtually killing the conclusion. However, this is not the first time an actor has been left out of the franchise due to on-set conflicts. Finally, Fast and Furious 11 is expected to provide the franchise's trademark adrenaline-pumping action and engaging storytelling. While specifics regarding the picture are scant, fans can expect another exciting chapter in the Fast and Furious narrative, complete with the franchise's characteristic blend of high-speed thrills and heart-pounding drama. Stay tuned for further updates as production continues and more information about this highly anticipated film becomes available. And that's a wrap for today's video. If you enjoyed what you saw, give this video a big thumbs up and click the subscribe button below. To ensure that you don't miss any more of our upcoming material, turn on that notification bell.